Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. So I'm trying to get stuff ready at the same time. Hold up, y'all. So my camera has moved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not like I'll be in camera too much. Shout out to everybody. Hopefully this is not too off. Okay, let me share. Let me let everybody know we're live. We live now. And I want us to get started right away because, oh man, we definitely got some stuff to review. And hopefully we'll get through as much as we can today. But if we can't, this will just have to wait. We live now. So let me just start by saying that you guys know we're like reporting live on the case, right? And there's some stuff that we're not finding out that we're finding out through the transcripts, which is amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, for those that are coming through, I guess they talked about RayJ being a drug dealer, allegedly, based on the transcripts. I don't know anything about that, but apparently it said it on the transcripts. So we're going to talk about RayJ here in a minute. Definitely. But anyways, let me keep going. So we did receive by the way, we received the transcripts from yesterday and today. So yesterday we definitely have to figure out, I have to figure out what to do with making a video. They did come in a little bit late, but that's okay. But that is okay. So we're just going to have to figure it out. I know I was interested on Ferguson, the CFO, and the financial stuff. I think that was the biggest thing. So there's that. But let me shout out people that just came through. Let me see the people. First of all, Tash L, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you. Venus Blue has been a member for 13 months, a year and a month. Thank you, my love. Shout out to you. Rose Gold has been a member for 17 months. Oh my gosh. Has it really been that long? Jeez, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Now hold up. I'm annoyed because this like thing is going off too. And let me let the people know that we are live as well. Come on through, everybody. Come on through. Everybody come through. Hit the like button, please, and thank you. So Rihanna has been a member for 18 months. Thank you, my love. Shout out to you. Thank you for being a member and supporting the channel. Thank you. Appreciate it. So RayJ was mentioned. He was being asked, this was when, for those that are like, what are you talking about? I haven't watched this whole thing. I don't know what's going on. So we're going to go right to RayJ, but then we're going to go back to kind of the start of the transcripts. The reason I'm going right to RayJ is because it's the thing that's like trending right now. So I didn't know he was mentioned. First of all, it didn't come up in inner city press at all, or at least I wasn't here when it came up. I'll say that. But RayJ did come up on the transcripts, okay? And I will show you guys directly. So when Bana was being asked by Westmoreland about drugs, so the question was, okay, Miss Bana, if you always made Cassie pay for her drugs, if you can answer in the negative, can you say no? Could you re-say that, please? She says, you explained to us that you sold drugs to Cassie. All I ask is if you ever did drugs with Cassie without making her pay for them. She says, yes. You often had drug dealers deliver to Cassie, true? Yes. Can you please tell us the dealers' names that you had delivered to Cassie? I can't remember their names. It's a long time ago. So we remember this part. Well, here RayJ's name gets mentioned, okay? Would documents help refresh your memory? Guess so. Do you remember a drug dealer, RayJ? I don't know if that's his name, she says. Do you remember a rug dealer that you sent to Cassie, often by the name of RayJ? I don't remember that name. Okay, so you have no idea who RayJ is. She says, I mean, he sounds like like that singer, but I don't think it's him. So somebody call RayJ because his name is being mentioned here. Somebody call RayJ because his name is being mentioned here. She's like, RayJ, GMAT, RayJ. RayJ? Oh my God. I said, what? So hold up. She says, I don't know if that's his name. Then the question goes, do you remember a drug dealer that you would send to Cassie often by the name of RayJ? I don't remember that name. Okay, so you have no idea who RayJ is. I mean, he sounds like that singer, but I don't think it's him. Now, you know what they say in Hollywood, those rumors with RayJ and Whitney Houston. Allegedly, RayJ was the supplier for Whitney. Allegedly. Alle- allegedly. Allegedly. RayJ, I know you're digging your heels up in the YouTube. Don't go suing us over here. But it's been said that you were. Yes. Okay. Let me stop. And don't forget on that show when he was having the fight with Bobby Lights. He told Bobby Lights that he could make it look like he drowned in the pool. So he's. Anyways, let me stop. This was recent. I'm not making that up. That was recent. Allegedly, that was recent. Allegedly. Okay. All right, let's go to the beginning. Okay. Now I'm gonna start. I put some markers in here. He's been everywhere in the industry. Poor RayJ. Not really, but it is what it is. Okay. He's been around. You guys should ask Suge Knight about that too. Yeah, he was doing all that for Whitney. What was rude? Tell me, Venus. Said RayJ was also allegedly to have been involved in Wendy Williams. Really? Let me stop right there. We just reading transcripts now here in a little bit. But that's what was said. Okay. Let's get it together. So before Bryana, we're going to call her Bana because I think it's shorter and it's a little bit easier to pronounce for me at least. Sylvia. Oh, shout out to Sylvia's in the chat. I haven't seen you in a minute, Sylvia. In a minute. Don't make me get bossy now. So before Bana came through, who was the first witness? It was Frank Piazza. Frank Piazza was the forensic guy for the video, right? And basically, my understanding is that at least from what I'm hearing, people are saying is that Frank actually did a really, really good job in what's the word? Basically making it seem like there's some that the file that the video was submitted in the elevator was corrupt. So the defense was able to kind of put that out there. I don't know how much back and forth they could have gone with this guy, but I mean, they went back and forth, and I think that Teeny Garagos, from my understanding, actually did a pretty good job in digging some holes in there. I have not read that part of the transcript, so I'm going by what other people are saying that were in the courtroom. That kind of gave me the rundown of what's happening. Okay, so there's that. And then after Frank Piazza, it was Bryana. For those that don't know, you're like, who is this person? She is Cassie Ventura's friend. She was around when Cassie and Diddy were, together. She is the woman who filed a lawsuit against Diddy, and who alleged that she was hung out of a 17 balcony. So when I read this, we're going to go right through certain points, and I am going to skip over like things that I don't need to read. I don't need to read about, them switching over to new exhibits. Like, that's just too much. We're just going to get right to it, and I have markers so we can get going. All right, hit the like button. And by the way, please continue to donate to the transcripts because we definitely still need people to help us out there as well. For these transcripts, please and thank you. I know some of y'all are in the chat, and I notice a lot of people in chat transcripts, and I'm like, but you're not a regular. Make sure you're donating and you're helping a couple dollars here and there, or hit the Cash App or a super, something to support. I really would appreciate it because it's not only is it receiving them, but it's time consuming to read them. So please and thank you. I would appreciate it. All right, let's get it together and let's start. So Bryana comes in. She is the witness, right? Okay, so she spells out her name and she starts with government Miss Meiser. Okay. All right. Good morning, Miss. Can I call you Bryana, or what do you go by other names? Bana. She says, Bana. How old are you? I'm 33 years old. What is your profession? I'm a creative and marketing director for my own art agency. What kind of work do you do for your art agency? Everything from like package design to fashion design to marketing. How long have you been doing design work? About 16 years. Okay. So exhibits get introduced. Who is this? Sean Combs. Do you know Sean Combs by any other names? Puff. Okay, I want to direct your attention to late September 2016, around that time. Do you have any interactions with Mr. Combs? Yes. What did Mr. Combs do to you? Right off the bat, what did Mr. Combs do to you? I was held over a 17-story balcony. What did Mr. Combs do after he held you up on that 17-story balcony? Threw me onto the balcony furniture. Were you injured? Yes. Okay. How so? I had a bruise on the back of my leg and the back of my neck and pain. Did you have any mental effects from that? Yes. I have like night terrors and paranoia. I like scream in my sleep at times. We're going to talk more about that later. Okay? First exhibit gets in, okay? Here we go. Do you recognize the person depicted here? Yes. Who is this? Cassie Ventura. Okay. And do you know Cassie by any other names? Yes. Cassie, Cass. How do you know Cassie? She's one of my close friends. Are you still friends today? Yes. Okay. All right. So when did you first cross paths with Cassie? Probably around 2023, 2024 at a company called Young and Reckless. Okay, I don't know if that's a typo. Okay, you said 2023, 2024. Do you mean? Oh, sorry, there's a typo. Bana gave the wrong years. So the government says, do you mean like what years do you mean? Oh, sorry. Why don't you clarify what you mean? I'm sorry, 2013 to 2014. And you mentioned that was at Young and Reckless. Yes? What is Young and Reckless? A streetwear company. Were you working there at that time? Yes. In what role? Graphic designer. Did you have any personal interactions with Cassie while you were at Young and Reckless? No. Okay. Did there come a time when you did interact personally with Cassie? Yes. Approximately when was that? Around 2015 to 2014 to 2015. And what were the circumstances? It was at a company called Diamond Supply Co. What is Diamond Supply Co? Another streetwear company. What did you do at the Diamond Supply Co? I was head of women's design. How did Cassie come into the picture here? We hired her like a co-designer. What did you do with Cassie at Diamond Supply? My job was to pull out like designs and her thoughts in her head to create clothing collections with her. When you first met Cassie, was she in a relationship with anyone? Yes. With whom? Puff. Did you meet Cassie or Mr. Combs first? Cassie. And from what you saw, how would you describe the relationship? Volatile. What do you mean by that? Like a lots of ups and downs, and at some points, lots of ups and downs. And at some point, did your relationship with Cassie become a personal one and not just a professional one? Yes. How long after meeting Cassie did you meet Mr. Combs? About a year. Why did you not meet him earlier than that? I wasn't really fond of what I was like seeing, so I wasn't really like wanting to meet him right away. And just generally, what had you seen? Just like phone calls, like seeing she seemed upset or like a black eye. So, who seemed upset on the phone? Cassie. Who did you mention she was talking to? Puff. And who had a black eye? Cassie. We'll talk more about that black eye later in the testimony, in your testimony. Why did you finally agree to meet with Mr. Combs? She basically kind of like begged me. Who begged you? Cassie. And after meeting Mr. Combs, how did you see him with Cassie? Sporadically? Did you do any designs work for Mr. Combs? Yes. And approximately how many occasions? Just a few. I want to talk more, Miss Bama, about the time you were spending with Cassie. Where would you typically hang out? Her apartment in Los Angeles? Where was her apartment? In Los Angeles. Was it a particular street in Los Angeles? Yes, on Stockholm. Excuse me, Comstock. Where was Mr. Combs living at the time? I believe on Mapleton. Okay, objection from Westmoreland. Now, Westmoreland does the questioning, and I heard that Westmoreland was based on the court that she was like on fire. She was like right on Bana on everything that she said here. So we're gonna do our best to kind of go through as much as here for the government, and then we're gonna jump over to Westmoreland because this is, the highlights of it for the most part. Okay, and I'll acknowledge the chat here in a little bit. So give me one sec. Okay, the court tells Miss Meiser to, you know, to lay the foundation on the questionings, okay? Because Westmoreland is objecting based on speculation, okay? Were you aware of where Mr. Combs was living at the time? Not right away, okay? Did there come a point in time when you learned where Mr. Combs was living? Yes. How did you know where he was living? I got invited there. And also, where was Mr. Combs living at the time? Mapleton, I believe, in Beverly Hills. And where was Cassie's Comstock apartment in relation to Mr. Combs' Mapleton home? Pretty close by. What kinds of things would you and Cassie do when you were hanging out at her home? We would work out on designs. We would talk about things we'd like doing and get high. So you would do drugs. Yes. What kinds of drugs would you and Cassie do together? A lot of marijuana, occasionally coke, ketamine, stuff like that. And how, if at all, did your drug use with Cassie change over time? It definitely created like a habit. Would any other friends regularly hang out with you and Cassie? Yes. And who were some of those friends? In the beginning, there was Mia, and then if Carrie was in town, Carrie would be there. Deontay and Rob Holiday. So I want to talk a little bit more about Rob Holiday. When did you first meet Rob? A while ago, even before Cassie. And what is his profession? He's a producer. And what was your relationship with Rob? He was kind of like one of my best friends. We'll come back to Rob later. Were there times where you and Cassie were hanging out and when you went shopping? Yes. Okay. All right. So more exhibits get put up. Ms. Bana, do you recognize this? Yes. What is it? It's a picture from shopping together at a place called Church. How do you know that? Because I took this picture. Is it fair and accurate representation of you and Cassie at a shopping trip together? Yes. Okay. There's more exhibits. Westmoreland doesn't object. Okay. Miss Bana, could you tell the jury who is in this photograph? Cassie and myself. Approximately when was this taken? Early 2016. The date of this photograph is April 30th, 2016. Was it sometime around that time? Yes. What were you and Cassie doing this day? Getting our nails done, going shopping, stuff like that. Okay. Was Mr. Combs with you? No. Are you aware of any communication between Mr. Combs and Cassie during the shopping trip? Yes. How did you know about that communication? Cassie showed me. What was the general nature of the communication? Where she was? And what, if anything, did Mr. Combs say about where Cassie was? It had like listed all the places we had been to. Mr. Combs sent a list of places you and Cassie had been. Objection from Garagos. Okay. The question needs to be rephrased. Okay. Just repeat again exactly what Mr. Combs sent to Cassie. She had shown me her phone and there was a list of places. What were those places? All the places we had been to that day. As far as you were aware, had either of you or Cassie told Mr. Combs where you were that afternoon? No. How did it make you feel when you got this list of places? Objection. Okay. Court overruled. Oh, man. Wow. Like he really knows where we're at. And what did you and Cassie do after you got this list from Mr. Combs? We went home shortly to her place. Okay. Take that down. All right. Were there times where you stayed over at Cassie's apartment? Yes. How often? pretty often. Where would you sleep when you stayed at Cassie's? Anywhere from the couch, the balcony, or her bed? Were there times when Mr. Combs came over to Cassie's apartment when you were there? Yes. When typically would he come over? In the middle of the night? What did Mr. Combs do when he would come over in the middle of the night? He would bang on the door. How loudly? Pretty loud. Would he get inside the apartment? Yes. How? Honestly, I don't know. How did Cassie react when Mr. Combs would come over in the middle of the night and bang on the door? Sometimes surprised, and sometimes it just seemed like normal. Did you ever witness violence between Mr. Combs and Cassie when Mr. Combs came over in the middle of the night? Yes. Once or more than once. I can I can only really remember one time. Okay. Clock this. This is important, I think. Okay. Now hold up. Let me see. Okay. I can only really remember one time. So let's talk about that time. Do you remember when that was? I don't remember the time. What were you doing before Mr. Combs got to the apartment? I was sleeping. Did there come a time when you were woken up? Yes. How were you woken up? By the banging. And who was banging? Puff was banging the door. Where was Cassie at the time? Her bedroom. What, if anything, did Cassie do in response to the banging? Came out of her bedroom. Did Mr. Combs get into the apartment? Yes. Do you know how? No. What, if anything, was Mr. Combs saying when he got into the apartment? I don't know what he was saying. What was his tone of voice? Upset. And after Mr. Combs got into the apartment, what did you remember him doing? I just remember seeing a knife get thrown in her direction. And where? From what direction did the knife come? He was standing by the entry door. Okay. So the knife gets thrown from the entry door. Objection from Westmoreland. The court speaks. Overruled. You can answer. He threw the knife in Cassie's direction. And where was Cassie at the time that Mr. Combs threw the knife? In the hallway that leads to her bedroom. How close was that to where Mr. Combs was standing? I would say pretty close. How did Cassie react when a knife was thrown in her direction? She threw the knife back. How did the knife hit Mr. Combs? Or excuse me, and did the knife hit Mr. Combs? No. Do you remember how this incident ended? He left swiftly. Who left swiftly? Puff. Were you doing drugs that night? I don't remember. Do you remember all the details of this incident? No. Do you call the police? No. Why not? Because I was scared. And why were you scared? I was just scared of Puff. And why were you scared of Mr. Combs at that time? Everything I was seeing. Do the things that you've described from this night, Mr. Combs throwing the knife, do those stick out in your mind? Yes. Did you see any injuries on Cassie this night? No. Were there any other times you saw injuries on her? Yes. What was Cassie doing the first time you saw an injury on her? She was FaceTiming me. And what was she doing on the FaceTime? I believe she was going to get ready for makeup. Makeup for what? To get ready for a movie premiere. What movie premiere? The Perfect Match. So you were communicating with her over FaceTime? Yes. What did you see on the FaceTime? She just panned from one side of her face to the other. Cassie did? Yes. And what did you see when Cassie panned from one side of the face to the other? Her black eye. How did you react when you saw the black eye on Cassie's face? I was a little quiet and I remember saying, I'm sorry. What if anything did Cassie do in response? She was also pretty quiet. Was this the only time you saw injuries on Cassie? No. What other kinds of injuries did you see? She just bruises randomly? Okay, Miss Bana, next I want to direct your attention to one of Cassie's birthday parties. Did you attend her 29th birthday? Yes. Where was the party? At a place called Blind Dragon? What is Blind Dragon? It's a karaoke nightclub. In what city? It's in West Hollywood. Who were some of the people who were at the party? I know that Deontay was there, Tiffany Red, Puff, security guards, and maybe Carrie. She was in town. Okay, enter the chat, and maybe Carrie, if she was, whoever Carrie is, note that name. Okay. Did you see any interactions between Cassie and Mr. Combs at the karaoke bar? Yes. Were they getting along? In the beginning. Did that change? Yes. What did you observe? They were fighting. Who was with them at the time? Just them and the security guard. Did you see Cassie during this fight? Yeah. When I couldn't see a lot, but in between the security guard occasionally. And how did Cassie appear from what you could see? She just seemed upset. Where did you go after the karaoke bar? To her apartment on Comstock? To whose apartment? Cassie. What, if anything, did Cassie do at her apartment? She was getting ready with Deontay to leave. And what were she and Deontay doing? Just packing her bags. What did Cassie do after her bags were packed? She left. Did you see where she went? I did not see where she went. Okay, Miss Bana, before we move along, did you receive a subpoena requiring you to testify at this trial? Yes. And is there also an order compelling you to testify, even though your testimony might incriminate yourself? Yes. What is your understanding of what that order requires you to do? To just be truthful. And what is your understanding of the protections you get under this order if you are truthful? That I won't get into trouble. Does this order protect you if you intentionally make false statements today? No. In other words, can you still be prosecuted for perjury if you lie? Yes. Next, I want to talk about some of your interactions with Mr. Combs. Were there ever times that Mr. Combs provided you with drugs? Yes. How many times? A few? Maybe like 3 or 4? What rugs did he provide you? Ecstasy, cocaine, K, and G. You mentioned G. What is that? I don't know completely because I'm not like an avid user, but I believe it stems from like GHB. Okay. Were there any rugs that you had not done before Mr. Combs provided you to them? G. Did you see Mr. Combs do any rugs himself? Yes. Approximately how many times? Just a few. What rugs did you see him do? MJK and Coca-Cola. I'm trying to use the codes because I don't want this video to get flagged by YouTube. Okay. Okay. Were there ever times that you did rugs with Cassie when Mr. Combs was not present? Yes. How frequently did that happen? Pretty often. How often? Say per month. I would say weekly. Okay. Did the frequency change over time at all? Yes. How did it change? When just when we were around each other, did it become more or less over time? More. And what kind of rugs did Cassie use together? MJ, Coca-Cola, and K. Where did those rugs come from? I would have them. She would have them. How often did you get rugs for Cassie? Often. What kinds of rugs did you get for her? Those oxy pills and Coca-Cola and sometimes Kellogg. Did Cassie pay you for these rugs? Yes. Did you ever get rugs for Mr. Combs? Yes. How many times? Just a few. What did you get? Elasticity and K and G. Is that what you got for Mr. Combs? No. Was there ever a time where you got rugs for Mr. Combs? Just one time. What did you get him on that occasion? Coca-Cola. You had just mentioned a few other rugs, Kellogg, G, and Elasticity. Were those rugs that Mr. Combs had given you? Yes. Were you selling rugs to other people? Not often, but yes. Were there ever times that you and Cassie tried to stop doing rugs? Yes. Why did you want to stop doing rugs? Because we wanted to do better. Okay. What would you do together instead of doing drugs? We would try to cook. You would try to cook? Yeah. Would these periods of sobriety ever last? No. Why not? It was hard to get sober. If you know, there's a lot of rugs around. I want to shift to a topic now, Miss Bana. Okay. Has Mr. Combs ever threatened you? Yes. Okay. So exhibits get pulled up. Let's see. Do you recognize this? Yes. What is it? A picture of I took of a best friend and I had a time. at the time and Cassie. How do you know? Because I took the picture. Is it a fair and accurate representation from the photo shoot? Yes. Okay. So no objection. That's admitted into exhibit. All right. Miss Bana, could you explain where this photo's from? Yes, it's in Malibu. Approximately when was this photo taken? Early 2016. And the dates here is April 24, 2016. Is that approximately correct? Yes. You said you took the photo? Yes. Who is in the photograph? This photograph that goes by Bad Boy, but with an I and Cassie. So this this photographer, excuse me, hold up, I can't read. This photographer that goes by Bad Boy, but with an I in Cassie. So this photographer, Bad Boy, do you know if he has any relation to Bad Boy Records or Bad Boy Entertainment? No, it was just his name. And why were you all on the beach? And why were you all at the beach that day? Well, we just thought it'd be cool. His name was Bad Boy, and he happened to be a good friend of mine, and just sort of, make some art. Was Mr. Combs there? Not at the photo shoot, but in the house. And where is the house located? Like you could say that the backyard, like you could say that that's the backyard, but it's just the beach, so in front of it. So the house close to the beach, yes. And the city is in what city is that in this house? In what city is this house? Malibu, California. What, if any, interactions did you have with Mr. Combs on that day of the shoot? He came to me and he said some stuff. What did he say to you? He came up really close to my face and said something on the long lines of, I'm the devil and I could K you. Had Mr. Combs ever said anything like that to you before? No. Did you have any understanding of why he was saying that? No. Did Mr. Combs appear high to you? I couldn't tell. Were you taking rugs that day? I probably was. How did you react to this threat? I was terrified because of the Coca-Cola. I had a little confidence to just brush it off. And you did continue to see Mr. Combs after that? Yes. Why? Honestly, I don't know. Did you continue to hang out with Cassie after Mr. Combs made that threat? Yes. Why? Our friendship. But I don't know. Okay. Ms. Bana, before your testimony today, have you met with the government? Yes. Do you remember if you told the prosecutors about this threat in your first meeting? I don't remember. If you didn't tell them, why would that have been? Objection, Westmoreland. Sustained. Ms. Bana, does this threat stick out in your mind? Yes. What were the circumstances of your first meeting with the government? Could you explain that? Yes. What was your understanding of what the purpose of your first meeting with the government would be? I just thought it'd be like a meet and greet, like, hey, like a meet and greet with the government. Did you understand you'd have to talk about the details of every event? Not fully. Shut up. I got to pause right here. Hold up. She thought she was doing a meet and greet with the government. Did she really say that? That was she was meeting? Did she understand? Did she have a lawyer when she met with the government? That's not good at all. Like, hey, I don't know what to say. Okay. Hold up. Let me shout out some people. SF, thank you so much. SFRB71, thank you for the $9.99, my love. Shout out to you. Thank you. Oh my God. Diamond Rainbow, thank you so much for this $10. Thank you for the support. She said meet and greet. She said meet and greet. She thought it was a meet and greet with the government. You can't make this up. She was like, hey, what's up? Thank you, Pika. Oh my God. All right. Let's get it together, y'all. Because I got to get through this. I want to see what happened with the defense. Okay. Check my apps. I will definitely check my apps. Sorry. I'm not even paying attention to my phone. Oh, okay. Hold up. My notifications. Hold up. Let me shout out some people. Thank you. Let me shout out hold up. Unalive Monroe. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Hold up. And Storm, thank you so much for this. Appreciate it. Definitely will be put towards that. Thank you. Okay. Let's keep going, okay? She said a meet and greet, huh? What? Okay. Sorry, that took me out. She said, I just thought it would be a meet and greet. That's what she said. Let me highlight this real quick. Did you understand you'd have to talk about the details of every event? Not fully. Okay. All right, Your Honor, I'm about to enter into a new topic. We could stop here or we can continue going. Let's take a lunch break. So let's take a lunch break. Nothing eventful happens here. And I know this because I've already reviewed it. They go back to lunch. They had some logistical issues that they wanted to talk about when they were going to be done, staying late, that whole thing. Okay. They're going to go back. Let's go. Lunch was great. Perfect. Okay, let's go. There was no sidebars or anything. Here we go. We're back to the witness. It's actually uneventful, which I thought was interesting. I said, okay, all right. Direct examination continues. Okay, now let me see. Here it is. All right, Miss Bana, earlier today you testified about an incident with Mr. Combs on the balcony. Do you remember that? Yes. I want to talk through the details of that incident, which with you. She says, okay. Approximately when did this take place? Early in the morning? Around what month and year? Like September 2016. Where were you when this happened? On the balcony of those apartments? Cassie's apartment on Comstock. Okay. Ms. Bana, do you recognize this? Yes. What is it? Cassie's condo. Where was Cassie's apartment located in this building? On the 17th story. Can you take that down? Okay. So who else was on Cassie's apartment that night? Cassie, myself, and my ex-girlfriend at the time. Where was Cassie? In her bedroom. What were you doing that night? Sleeping. Where were you sleeping? On the couch. Was there anyone else with you? Yes, my ex. Had you been doing drugs that night? I don't recall. Okay. It's important. Did there come a time when Combs came to the apartment that night? Yes. What did Mr. Combs do when he got to the door? Banging on the door? How loud was he banging? Very loud. Did you wake up? Yes. At that time that Mr. Combs was banging on the door, how were you feeling? Stressed out. What did you do when he banged on the door? I woke up and my ex was awake and I rushed her right to the guest bathroom. Okay. She was sleeping out in the balcony. Okay. And what did you do with your ex in the bathroom? I went indicating like she said shh, shh. I said shh, shh. Are you putting your fingers in front of your mouth? Yes. And then I closed the door and then I ran to the balcony. Why did you hide your ex-girlfriend in the bathroom? Because I didn't want to expose her to things that I see. Why? You said you went out to the balcony? Yeah. Why did you go out to the balcony? To act casual, look for a blunt. What were you doing on the balcony at that time? I was it either I lit the blunt or I was about to light it. Okay? So more exhibits. Miss Bana, do you recognize this? Yes. What is it? The balcony, Cassie's balcony. How do you know that? Because I've been there. And is it fair and accurate depiction of what the balcony looks like? Yes. Okay. More exhibits get admitted. Miss Bana, could you please explain to the jury where you were on the balcony when Mr. Combs was banging on the door? Close to the edge, somewhere in the middle. And do you see that ledge on the balcony? Yes. About how high is that? Not that high. Like I could lean over and smoke. And about how tall are you? About 5'1". Okay, that's her height, not 4'11". And that's a difference. And how high up on you does it come? Like my waist? Okay. All right. And I have a picture of that balcony. We can look at it too. Did Mr. Combs get inside the apartment? Yes. Do you know how he got in? No. What did he do after he got into the apartment from what you could see? Well, I couldn't see because I was facing the view, but he basically came from behind me. Mr. Combs was behind you on the balcony? Yes. And what's the first thing he did when he was behind you on the balcony? He lifted me up and then put me on top of the rail. Could you explain what his hands did when he lifted you up? Like to myself? Yeah. Just walk us through it. All right. So he came from behind and then into my armpits, and then up. Yeah. Before he lifted you up, did he do anything with his hands? It just came on my chest and then came down. You said he held you up on the balcony. Is that right? Yes. Approximately how much did you weigh around that time? I can't pinpoint like a number because of the rugs, but I know I was probably around 100 to 115 pounds. How much bigger is Mr. Combs than you? Bigger. What did you say? What did you say? Bigger. When Mr. Combs held you up, where were your feet? They were on the rail. And what were you doing with your body when your feet were on the rail? I was trying to not slip and push back on him. Why were you pushing back on Mr. Combs? Because I was scared to fall. And what were you thinking when Mr. Combs was holding you up on the 17th balcony? Objection overruled. You can answer. For a split second, I thought I was thinking about if I was going to fall, but the most part he was yelling at me, so I was trying to answer him. Let's talk about that. All right, let me stop right here. We had this lawsuit up. She said that he put his arms around her and he was groping her chest area. And the reason I know this is because it's in her civil complaint. It's in the civil complaint. She said that. She specifically said that. Okay. So this stands out to me right now because we read this earlier. So he was lifting her, but before he lifted her up, he was grabbing her chest area. That's what she was saying in that lawsuit. And then he was doing that. Like that's when he lifted her up. So I think it's important to kind of put this out here so people are aware of what's being said. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about that. Do we really have Diddy protesters in the chat? Oh Lord. This guy, didn't I block you? Sir, your profile is blocked. Why are you here? Lord have mercy. Go. Y'all gonna protest on my chat too? Go protest somewhere else. We're just reading this. Like, go somewhere with that. Go somewhere. They're recruiting protesters. Are you gonna pay them too? That's what we want to know. Okay, let's go. Wrong chat. Okay. All right. Let's talk about that. What was Mr. Combs saying to you on the balcony? He keeps repeating, like, you know what the F you did? Did you know what he was talking about? I have no idea. Sitting here today, do you have any idea what he was talking about? I still have no idea. What, if anything, did you say back? Like, around, like, I don't know what the F I did. And what was Mr. Combs' tone of voice when he was talking to you? He was yelling at me. How was it? Excuse me. Was it loud? Yes. How long was Mr. Combs holding you over the balcony? Excuse me. How long was Mr. Combs holding you on the balcony? I don't know, but if you repeat the words a few times over and over, it's like, like 10 to 15 seconds. And what words are you talking about? You know what the F you did. Did Mr. Combs say that one time or multiple times? Multiple times. When Mr. Combs is holding you up, where are you facing? I'm facing the view. What did Mr. Combs do after he held you up on the balcony? He threw me on the balcony furniture. Was that furniture outside? Yes. How did it feel when he threw you on the balcony furniture? It definitely hurt, but I think it's all the adrenaline. I just got up. So at that time when Mr. Combs threw you on the furniture, did you know if you were injured or not? Not right away. Where was Cassie at this time? She was in the bedroom. Cassie says she was sedated. Did she see something? That's the question. And this is a side note, okay? Did there come a time when she came out to the balcony? Yeah, not on the balcony, but right by the door. And as I'm like falling, I hear her voice. What was her tone of voice? Kind of like a disbelief a little bit. And what was she saying? Objection. Okay. Of course, this base for the eliciting that testimony. Spicer says, Your Honor, it's to Cassie's reaction. It's not hearsay. It's overruled. Why don't you ask the question again? Miss Bana, when you were on the balcony, what did you hear Cassie say? Around the lines, did you just hang her over the balcony? Okay, so she heard this. What did Mr. Combs do after Cassie asked you to just hang her over the balcony? Excuse me. What did Mr. Combs do after Cassie asked, did you hang her over the balcony? They were like talking together, and then I heard something like her girlfriend is in the bathroom, her girlfriend's in the house. And what happened after that? He swiftly left. Who swiftly left? Puff. What did you do after Mr. Combs left the apartment? I don't remember exactly what I did right away, but I ended up leaving. Where did you go after you left Cassie's apartment? I went to my apartment. What did you do at your apartment? I was shaking a lot when then I wanted to take a shower because I felt disgusted. And then I looked over behind my leg and then I see a huge bruise. We'll talk about that bruise in a moment. Miss Bana, do you remember all the details of the incident that night? No. Do the details that you've talked about stick out in your head? Excuse me, in your mind? Yes. What, if any, physical injuries did you have as a result of that night? I had a big bruise, it was like a piercing in the middle of it, and then I had a back and a neck pain. Okay. So there's more exhibits that are pulled up. Miss Bana, do you recognize this? Yes. What is it? It's the back of my leg with the bruise. How do you know? Because I took the picture. When did you take this? That same day. The same day. Okay. Is it a fair and accurate description? A fair and accurate depiction of your leg that day? Yes. Okay. Ms. Bana, could you just explain to the jury what they're looking for? So they're showing exhibits. That would be my leg with the bruise and the piercing in the middle. How did you get that injury? From being thrown into the balcony furniture. Okay. Miss Bana, do you recognize this? Yes. What is it? It's another picture, but it shows the data behind it. Is it from the same time as the earlier picture? Yes. Is it a fair and accurate representation of your leg? Yes. Okay, no objections. All right. It is this also a photograph of your leg? Yes. The date here is September 26, 2016 at 9:45 a.m. Is that around the time the photograph was taken? Yes. Who took the photograph? I did. Where did you take the photograph? My bathroom. Does the map at the bottom reflect where you were living at the time? Yes. Okay, take that down. Miss Bana, what, if any, medical care did you seek after this incident? I just went to the chiropractor. How soon after did you go to the chiropractor? The same day. Why did you go to a chiropractor? Because I was freaked out and I called my managers at the time and asked them what I should do. And what did they tell you? One of them told me to go to the chiropractor if I was too scared to do anything else. Were you in pain at the time? Yes. What, if anything, did the chiropractor ask you? Who did this to you? How did you respond? I freaked out. I just objection. Okay. You can continue because it was overruled. All right. I freaked out. And then I just paid and took the neck brace and left. Did you tell the chiropractor who done this to you? No. Why not? Because I was scared. Okay. Miss Bana, do you recognize these? More exhibits are shown. What are they? Yeah, what are they? It's a picture of my back. How did you know? How do you know that? Because my ex-girlfriend took it. And these are fair and accurate representations of your back? Yes. Okay. More exhibits are shown. No objection. Okay. Looking here on the left side of the screen, Miss Bana, what are we looking at? You said the one on the left? Mm-hmm. I was taking a picture of my phone because it was an older phone and I was struggling with the airdropping to my new phone. What does the photograph show? My back and my neck. Are there bandages on your back? Yes. Who put those bandages there? I believe my ex-girlfriend. Why? Because I was showing her where the pain was and she put the band-aids where it hurt. What are you wearing on your neck? A neck brace. Where did that come from? The chiropractor. Did you have neck pain at this time? Yes. And what caused your neck pain? Being slammed into the patio furniture, the balcony furniture. Sorry. Okay. Patio furniture, balcony furniture. All right. So, Miss Bana, do you see this says September 30th, 2016? Yes. Do you know if this is where the photo was taken? Yes, around then. You said around that time? Yes. Why do you say around that time? Because I didn't take the picture. So, was it sent to you? Yes. Okay. Did you seek any additional medical care at this time? Not right away. And why didn't you seek any medical care at this time? For two reasons. I was scared, and the other one, to be honest, all the rugs pumped in me. You really feel a lot of pain right away. Was there a later time in which you did feel the pain? Excuse me. She says, I was scared. And the other one, to be honest, all the rugs pumped in me. You don't really feel a lot of pain right away. Question: was there a time later in which you did feel the pain? Yeah, I decided to get sober. Did you ever talk to Mr. Combs about this incident? Yes. How did that conversation? How did you have that conversation with him? Him or someone else on his team FaceTime me like a day or two later. A day or two later, what? The balconies incident. And what could you see? What was anyone else present for this conversation? No. What did you say, Mr. Combs? What did you say to Mr. Combs during the conversation? I remember saying a couple things like, I don't want any problems with you. How did he respond? I don't remember him saying much, but putting his hands over his head and then breathing, like looking back into the camera and then doing that thing. Did you report this incident to the police? No. Why not? Because I was scared. Why? Because of everything I've been gone through at this point. Who were you scared of? Puff. After the balcony incident, what was your relationship like with Mr. Combs? Like, we tried to be cool. Did you hang out with him? Uh did you hang out with him some after that? Sometime after that. I think that's what they meant to say. Yes. What was your relationship with Cassie? We were still friends. Did you still hang out with her? Yes. When was the last time you spent time with Cassie and Mr. Combs? January 2nd, 2018. How did you know the precise date? Because I tattooed it on my neck. Why did you tattoo it on your neck? To commit to a commitment, to make commitment, to get sober and not go back. What happened that day when you decided to leave? Well, it was like a New Year's Eve party in Miami. What happened at the New Year's Eve party? After I got invited back to the penthouse suite at the one hotel. And what city were you in at that time? Miami. Did you go to the one hotel? Yes. Who was at the one hotel? It was me, Cassie, and Puff. And what did you, Cassie, Puff, or Mr. Combs do at the hotel one? We did 8 hours of K together. What did you decide to do after doing K for 8 hours with him? I couldn't do this anymore, and I left. After you left, were you able to get sober? Not right away. Did you get sober after some time? Uh, did you get sober after some point in time? Yes. Are you sober now? Yes. How, if at all, did your relationship with Cassie change after you left? It became sporadic. What is it like today? Cool. Miss Bana, are you aware of the lawsuit that Cassie filed? Yes. When did she file that suit? November 2023. Did that suit mention Mr. Combs hanging you over a balcony? Yes. Did you talk to Cassie about her suit? Yes. Right after she filed it. What did you say? Objection from Westmoreland. Okay. That's overruled. You can answer. Are the likes liking? Let me know. Let me know. Hold up. Let me take a drink break. Thank you. Thank you. Can we get more likes, please? We have 370 people here. Can we get at least 300 likes? Here we go. So we got into it in the live stream about the lawsuit. We're about to get into it, okay? What did so there was an objection. She says you can answer, okay? I was like, girl, you got some of that information wrong. And what did you mean by that? It wasn't at a hotel. The date is incorrect, and Tiffany wasn't there. What? What? Okay. And were those the facts in the complaint? Sorry, could you say that again? Is that how the balcony incident was described in Cassie's complaint? Yes. And how did Cassie react when you told her that she got some of the details wrong? Kind of like, not like she knew, but like, like she was on drugs and she had the wrong information. Oh my God. When you're saying that she was on drugs, like back in the day when the balcony incident was happening? Yeah. Miss Ben, I think you mentioned earlier that you met with the government prior to your testimony today. Is that right? Yes. And once you began meeting with the government, did you have any additional conversations with Cassie about the balcony incident? Just one other time. What did you talk about? She just said that she told her lawyers what I said. Have you talked with Cassie about the substance of your testimony here today? No. What about the substance of her testimony? No. Miss Bana, have you had any lasting effects from when Mr. Combs held you up on the balcony? Yeah. Yes. What are those effects? I have nightmares and I have a lot of paranoia, and I use to scream a lot in my sleep, but it's dissipated a little. Do you do those things before did you do those things before the balcony incident? No. When you say you have paranoia, what do you mean? Like I was gonna, if I go home to my apartment, like unlock it, and then I'll kick the door open and kind of peek my head to see if everything is clear. When was the last time you had nightmares? The other day. You have hired a lawyer to represent you in connection with the balcony incident. Yes. And approximately when did you first hire a lawyer? January 2024. Did you still have the same attorney that you hired in January 2024? No. Did the first attorney represent you in your first meeting with the government? Yes. In that first meeting with the government, did you talk about every single detail that you talked about in your testimony today? No. Why not? Objection. What was your expectation of that meeting? I just thought I was going to meet you guys. Did you meet with the government after the first meeting? Yes. Over the next few meetings with the government, did you talk to the government about the topics that you've testified about here today? Yes. And were you able to cover every single topic in each meeting, or only some topics in each meeting? Just some topics in each meeting. Did your first attorney send a demand letter to Mr. Combs? Yes. Or one or multiple? I believe multiple. At a high level, what is your understanding of what the demand letter is? Asking for compensation for damages. Did you know how much money was demanded in that letter? Not exactly. I just know it was pretty high. Okay, let me stop right here. Tyrone Blackburn and these lawyers that are making these these high demand letters, and not even consulting with their clients. She's saying it here. So, Tyrone Blackburn, what had happened here? I want to know. Multiple letters. That's what she's saying here. Okay. Um, did you pick the amount, or did your attorney pick the amount? He picked the amount. He picked the amount. Okay. Let me highlight this. At the time the letter or letters were sent, did you know exactly what was in those letters? No. Did you approve the letters before they were sent? No. She is being held. Listen, I don't think that Bana is lying here when she doesn't even know the amount. She'd approve the letters to go out. Did you know if everything in those letters was correct? They were incorrect. What did you do after you learned about the information in the letters was incorrect? I let him go. You let who go? Tyrone Blackburn, your first lawyer. I bet you he said he was going to take your case pro bono, right? Your first lawyer, yes. Did you end up hiring a new lawyer? Yes. You were contemplating a lawsuit against Mr. Combs. Yes. And when were you contemplating that lawsuit? Did you hear from any friends he used to have during the time you hung out with Mr. Combs and Cassie? Yes. Who did you hear from? Tiffany Red. And did you hear from other friends? Cassie. And did you hear from a producer? Yes, Rob Holiday. Was he one of your friends? He was one of my best friends. Okay. Did he reach out to you, or did you reach out to him? He reached out to me. Okay. I'm going to stop right here because I want to go straight. Like I said, this is going to take us a while, and I kind of want to jump into the, okay. Hold up. Maybe I'll jump after this. After this reached out, okay. So people are reaching out to her. And before this reach out, what was your relationship with Rob like? We were cool. We were hanging out all the time. I listened to him. I'd listen to him make music. He'd watch me make graphics and art. How long had you been friends? before Cassie. Was Rob friends with Mr. Combs? Yes. Okay, approximately when was this reach out from Rob? Early to 2024. How did Rob reach out to you? FaceTime. Where was Rob when he FaceTimed you? It looked like Puff's backyard. In what city? Beverly Hills, California. What is the first thing you remember Rob saying to you on the FaceTime? He said he makes this noise. He was like, ooh, he was like, you didn't tell me. Okay, Westmoreland says objection. They need a sidebar. Okay, so they get into the sidebar, all right? That's where I wanted to go. So Westmoreland basically says that she's going to object to the hearsay, to Bana for hearsay. There has been no foundation that Rob called her on behalf of Mr. Combs. She says Rob Holiday was her friend, and she knew Mr. Holiday before Mr. Combs, and he was one of her best friends. I believe the prosecution is about to elicit hearsay of Rob Holiday and her speaking about her lawsuit or a particular complaint or things of that nature. And Rob Holiday said some things to her, but I don't think the prosecutor laid the foundation. Okay. So it's an objection, one objection to hearsay. Westmoreland, yes. Okay. Miss Miser, what is your response? So she says, I think this is a co-conspirator statement in relation to hearsay objection. I think she has already talked about Mr. Holiday being friends with Mr. Combs, calling her from Mr. Combs' home. And what I expect is that she's going to say she's going to say that he didn't tell me that you were going to sue him. And she understood that to be Mr. Combs. So they kind of get into it. I'm going to have to run down because I really want to get to the defense part. They go back and forth. I know that there's a lot of information here, but this is going to have to be a pre-recorded because it's a summary. It's just so much. And we just got it today. Hold up. Okay. When does she come in? Objection, sustain. Okay. We'll cut this video and I promise y'all we will read into it. Westmoreland speaks, sidebar. Okay, there's another sidebar here. Next page. We're still on, okay. We're still on direct. We need to get to cross. Here it is. Cross is right here. All right. So let me write this down. Page 180 is when direct finishes. Y'all, I got notes here. Direct. And then cross begins at 181. Because we're going to be here all night, and I don't want to be here all night if I do all this. Bana. Perfect. Okay. Let's get into it. So, this is when things got a little bit heated. Are you aware of how much money is being requested in the lawsuit? Okay. 10 million. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Westmoreland, and I represent Mr. Combs. I need to talk to you. I need to ask you some questions, okay? Now, on direct, the prosecutor asked you some questions regarding immunity. Yes. Okay. And you testified that it's your understanding that you have immunity right now for your testimony. True? Yes, ma'am. Okay. So, and you testified that from your understanding, what that means is that you can't be prosecuted for anything that you testified to today as long as it's the truth. Is that correct? Could you rephrase that, please? Sure. You testified that you understand that the immunity means is that you cannot be prosecuted for any crimes that you discuss or testify to today. Yes. That's your understanding? Yes. And that's why, and that the only way you lose the protection is if you lie. Yes. Tell me your understanding of who gets to decide if you're lying. The prosecutor, the prosecutors. All right. Miss Bana, I want to go back, all right, in time when you first met Cassie Ventura. Okay. Okay. So explain what you were working on. So explain that you were working on Young and Restless. Yes, Young and Restless. Young and Restless, and that's where you first initially met. Cassie, true? We didn't exactly meet. We were just in the same facility. Right, so you met her, but you didn't start a relationship yet. Yes. And okay, and you are a graphic designer there? Yes. And at that time, Cassie was a music artist. I believe so. All right. So after Young and Reckless, that's when you started working with Diamond Supply Company? Yes, ma'am. And would I be accurate to say that you started working with Diamond Supply Company in 2015? Yes. Okay, and I believe you testified that once you started working at Diamond Supply, that that's where you and Cassie really met. Yes. Okay, and you were a graphic designer there? I was the head of women's design. And you were the head of women's design, and Cassie was brought onto the company to co-design. Yes. Okay. And your job was to get the creative ideas out of Cassie's head. Yes. Okay, and at that time you were paid 75,000 for the position. Is that true? Yes. And is it your understanding that Cassie was paid more than you? Just a little bit more. Okay. So at that time Cassie is a music artist, true? I would say so. You would say so, or you're not sure? I wasn't like involved in her world at that time to know. Okay. So at that time, working at Diamonds, it's your understanding that Cassie was a music artist, right? Yes. So you understood at some point that she was signed to Bad Boy, right? Yes. So working and coming up with the design with Diamond, that was a second venture for Cassie, true? You want me to rephrase it? Yes. Okay. Cassie was a music artist, true. Yes. Okay. And Cassie was doing a design company or doing a design trying to do a clothing line, and she was doing that with you, right? Yes. Okay. So you would agree with me, it would be fair to categorize this as Cassie has two ventures going at the same time. Yes. This is Westmoreland. Let me stop right here. Westmoreland is trying to say here that Cassie had her own hustle. She was not locked up, in this RICO situation, because that's what the prosecutor has put out there. So they're so Westmoreland fucking smart, as far as I'm just saying, like, defense, there you go. Okay. She's literally laying the foundation by using Bana's own statement to put it out there to say Cassie Ventura had other outlets. She wasn't just constrained, which is what the government has been saying. Like, she couldn't do anything. She had to be always on check. So I just want you to know how they're literally heading every point. I'm gonna skip through this a little bit more because she's just, I feel like we kind of killed that right there. And we already know. So she's designing shirts, okay? Okay. She goes into, okay, so you recall that first night that you spend the night at Cassie's house, that she called you and asked you to come over. Do you remember that? Yes. And this was at her Studio City apartment. Yes. Okay. And that's the apartment that had a pool, true? Yes. Once you arrived at Cassie's or apartment, or the apartment, excuse me, you and her decided to, like, a photo shoot? Yes. It was a house, she says. Okay, so you suggested to Cassie that she do a photo shoot in the pool. Yeah, it was like the area, it looked like clear. The one area that was clear in the pool, right? Yes. And you asked Cassie to do this photo shoot in a t-shirt, true? That wasn't the first idea, but yes. And she did it for you, right? Yes. Okay. And it was at the moment that you believed that you and Cassie were comfortable with each other. I mean, you could explain you I mean, you could you explain that? It it's actually your words. Let me ask you, do you recall telling the government that it was at this very moment that I knew Cassie was comfortable with that me and Cassie was comfortable with each other? I don't recall, but yeah. Okay, sorry. You don't recall, but would you like me to refresh your memory? Or does that sound like what you said? It sounds around it. And you spend the night at Cassie that night, right? Yes. And after that night, Cassie would often ask you to spend the night at her apartment, right? It wasn't right away, but eventually it got there. Yeah. Okay. So while you spent a lot of time at the apartment with Cassie, then later you ended up spending a lot of time at Comstock, right? First the house, then Comstock. Yes. Yes. That's what I'm asking. True. Yes. Okay. And it got to the point where you were regular spending the night over there. That's fair, right? Yes. And you and Cassie would spend time together doing things. Like, you would obviously spend time together designing, true? Yes. And you and Cassie would go shopping. Let me check the time. Okay, good. Occasionally. All right. You and Cassie would go get your nails done occasionally, and you and Cassie would go party, like go to parties, hang out with us, not like go to parties, but like we would hang out with our friends. Okay. So Cassie has this other outlet. They're literally setting this out to say like this. Cassie wasn't just doing freak offs every day. I'm just showing you guys what the defense is saying. Okay, so please note that I'm not siding with the defense. I'm not siding with the government. I'm literally pointing out what seems blatantly obvious. As if I was in the courtroom, this is what I would be peeping right away. I'm like, okay, I get it. They are laying out what exactly is happening, and the fact it's just painting a different narrative, right? So keep that in mind. Okay. And we're just skipping through some of this because it would take me forever to read this. And I'll probably do a video where I fill in the gaps on this. All right. Okay. Do you recall telling the government that you and Cassie would go to a lot of parties? No, I don't recall. Okay, let's see if I can refresh your memory. All right. So they pulled up exhibits. Does that refresh your memory? To some extent. So you and Cassie would go to a lot of parties together. True. I feel like it's a little vague. What's a little vague? The word parties. Okay. So are you denying that you and Cassie did a lot of partying together? We partied, but going to parties, I didn't go to a lot of parties with her, but we partied. Semantics, but okay. Okay, so let's word it out completely how you're comfortable answering the question. You and Cassie partied together, right? Yes, ma'am. Great. Now, you and Cassie would do a lot of drugs together. Yes. Let's talk about the first time that you and Cassie did rugs together. Okay. All right. Do you recall the same photo shoot, the one in the pool in the t-shirt I asked you about? Yes. And Cassie asked you that day, it was your first night, you were spending the night. And Cassie asked if you'd like to get high. Do you remember that? Yes, ma'am. And you'd like to get high. So you told her yes. Yes. And you guys got high together, right? Yes. First night, first night. Okay. So after that, after getting high together for the first night, you would agree with me that you and Cassie started doing a lot of rugs after that. True? It wasn't right away. Okay, but at some point, and Cassie would spend some time together getting high. Can you agree with that? Yes. Okay. I want to discuss the usage, the drug usage between you and Cassie in a little bit more detail. Okay. Okay. You recall the government asking you the question before I came up here, right? Yes. And you listed a few rugs that you and Cassie would do. Yes. Okay. I want to ask you more about that. Oh, all right. Okay. You and Cassie would do MJ together. Yes. Please explain to us how MJ made you feel. Fun, happy, sometimes energetic, sometimes tired, sometimes hungry. Thanks. You and Cassie would do edibles together occasionally. Did you do edibles together or not? We did. Okay. How did that make you feel? The same. You and Cassie would do Coca Cola together. Yes. And I think you've already explained to us that Coca Cola made you feel like you have confidence. Yes. All right. You and Cassie would do Kellogg's together. Yes. And tell us how Kellogg made you feel. My opinion, it opens your mind. Opens your mind? Yes. You ever been stuck in a K-hole? That's a question. You've ever been stuck in a K-hole? Yes. All right. You and Cassie would do elasticity together. True. Randomly, not a lot. Okay. How does elasticity make you feel, Miss Bana? Like to say like loose, uplifted. Okay. All right. You and Cassie did Molly together. True. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Would you, and this is interesting how Westmoreland does it. She asks the question, all right, you and Cassie did mall together. She says, true. And then she responds, oh, I don't know. Can I show you something to refresh your memory? Okay. So Westmoreland is like, these are the things that you told the government, and I'm having to refresh your memory about what you said. All right. She says, I mean, sure, I wasn't like an everyday thing. All right. I'm not asking if it was an everyday thing. I'm asking if you and Cassie did the Molly together. Yes. All right. And you and Cassie did the G together one time. Okay. So we're going to skip through this because it's a lot. All right. Hold up. Do you recall explaining to the government that it makes you feel like you're on alcohol and corny. Yes, ma'am. All right, you and Cassie did um ass together. Yes. All right. Tell us about that. How did that make you feel? That one I don't remember. It was one time. All right. Perco. I think that that was a one time and I threw up and I didn't like it. Vicodin. I mean, that is one like it's like a pain reliever. I'm asking if you and Cassie did the Vika together. Oh, I don't know if we did that together. You want me to refresh your memory? We did it. We did it. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Like I did it. I don't know about her. Okay, you and Cassie did Cocoa Puff? Yeah. Turn to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury and explain to all of us what Cocoa Puff is. It is like a blunt and you open the blunt and you put the plants in and then you sprinkle a little Coca-Cola in it. And I'm using a lot of code words, y'all. Okay. That was one of my favorites. Yes. So she's reading out of something that says that was one of my favorites. She says yes. Okay. Cassie liked Cocoa Puffs too, didn't she? From your understanding, yes. How does Cocoa Puff make you feel? It like adds a little bit of the plant feeling and then a little like sharp feeling of like because of the Coca-Cola. Okay, you would agree with me that you and Cassie had a serious rug problem. Yeah, we had a problem. Okay, now you and Cassie would do rugs together before you met Mr. Combs. True? True. And you would sell Cassie rugs. True? True. Yes. And you often sold Cassie rugs. Yes. Well, let's put a time frame. Okay. Would you agree with me that you sold Cassie rugs at least on a weekly basis? She says yes. You understood that you were aware that Cassie was also on pills. Yes. All right. You did pills with Cassie, true? No. You've seen Cassie do pills. Yes. All right. Do you recall an occasion going to get some pills for Cassie? You remember, well, we'll strike that. You recall an occasion going to get hundreds of pills for Cassie at one time. You remember that? Yes. And you remember that because there were so many pills you were scared, true? Yeah. And you gave them to Cassie. They were hers. They were hers. And she was happy with you that you brought them for her, that you bought them for her. I couldn't tell. Okay. Now the time that you bought Cassie hundreds of pills, you would agree with me that that was early on in your friendship, right? Yes. Okay. You could give rugs to Cassie, true? Okay, so you would give rugs to Cassie, true? Yes. You would sell rugs to Cassie, true? Yes. So this friend was selling and giving stuff to her. Sometimes you would just be nice and do rugs with Cassie for free. True? Could you rephrase that last part? Would you sometimes do rugs with Cassie for free? Meaning she didn't have to buy the rugs from you. You share. Yes. Okay, Miss Bana, if you always made Cassie pay for her rugs, you can answer in the negative. You can say no. Could you re-say that, please? She says. So she's asking for these questions to be asked differently. You explained to us that you sold rugs to Cassie. All I asked you is that if you ever did rugs with Cassie without making her pay for them. Yes. How often had drug dealers deliver to Cassie? How okay, you often had drug real y'all, I can't read. You often had drug dealers deliver to Cassie. True? Yes. Can you please tell us the rug dealers' names that you had to deliver to Cassie? And this is when RayJ is mentioned in this whole situation, okay? Yes, yes. RayJ, if I had one wish, was mentioned here. And this wasn't mentioned by Inner City Press, which I'm like, he probably didn't catch that. But even CNN, I don't remember CNN putting this in their transcript. Maybe they did. I'm not really sure. But this is when RayJ came about. Enters RayJ. Yes. She basically says here, RayJ, the singer, like that's the wrong. I don't remember saying that name. That's the wrong person. So I wonder if RayJ is gonna have a statement because RayJ has to have a statement for everything. He'll probably He probably already said something about this. Okay. All right. So, question. So, let me ask you at the end of the day, in reference to the rug with Cassie, you would agree with me that you and Cassie did rugs every day. Not every day. Do you remember telling the government, admitting to the government that you and Cassie did rugs every day? If you don't remember, I'll refresh your memory. Okay. So, they're using her words. All right. Let me see if I can keep going ahead. Okay. Okay. All right. So if you, what's your answer? That you don't recall saying that you didn't say it? I don't remember. Okay. So besides you and Cassie getting high daily or weekly, you and Cassie, you guys were still trying to put out the clothing line together, right? Objection. It's an objection. Please rephrase. Okay. All right. You and Cassie were trying to put out a clothing line together, true? I don't know which clothing line. I'm talking about the t-shirt clothing line with Diamond Supply Company. Yes. Okay, so you would agree with me that over a 2-year period, you and Cassie finally get a few clothing lines of t-shirts out, true? Yes, we got some collections out. It took them 2 years. Guys, it took them 2 years. Okay. All right. And you would also agree with me that those lines didn't work out, right? They didn't work out for like internal diamond reasons. I understand. I'm asking you, and we'll talk about that. But you agree with me that they did not work out. True? Yes. And you agree with me that they didn't work out because you and Cassie were competing against people like Beyonce. Enter the chat. Beyonce. They were competing against Beyonce. She says, yeah. And you were competing against people like Rihanna. Enter the chat. Rihanna. Which congratulations to Rihanna. She just had her baby. I just heard. Okay. Um, she says yes. And you would also agree with me that you and Cassie were experiencing a lot of difficulties with Nikki. Nikki. I don't think it was Nikki himself. Nikki with the Y. Who is that? This name. Who is that? Does anybody know? If y'all know, let me know. There's a name by the name of Nikki. I don't think it was Nikki himself that was the problem. Hold up, let me see the time, y'all, because I don't think it was Nikki himself that was the problem. Okay, you don't think it was Nikki himself that was the problem? Explain. Well, it was a skate company, and we were designing great women's clothing, to be frank, and it was a bunch of skater guys holding up the women's company, women's clothing, so it wasn't working out internally. Thank you for explaining that. So you would agree with me that who did not hold you back is Mr. Combs, that it was the skater mentality at the company. True, true. Oh, Westmoreland, my goodness, man. Westmoreland is good. Oh my God. I don't know how she did that, but she did it. Okay, I'll rephrase. All right. Um, you've explained to us that the clothing line didn't work out. True? Yes. By the way, there was an objection after Westmoreland did that. Um, and you had a fierce competitors like Rihanna and Beyonce. True? Yes. And some had issues with Diamond Supply Company because they weren't seeing your vision. True? No. Okay, you had issues with Diamond Supply Company because there were a bunch of skateboarders and you and Cassie were making great female clothes designs. They just couldn't see it. True? I believe they believe in the vision and sign. It just not the I don't know how to explain it. Huh? Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am. It just didn't work out. Yes, ma'am. Okay. But it didn't work out with you and Cassie at the Diamond Supply company, though. True. Objection from Smeisner. Okay, overruled. Could you re-say the question, please? Ben is asking. It didn't work out with you because of the issues with the Diamond Supply Company, whatever the issues were. True. Yes. And you agree that while you're trying to do this business, while you and Cassie were trying to do this business, that you guys were having a lot of extracurricular activities, right? What could those be? Can you explain, please? Bana asked. Getting high. She called it extracurricular activities. Um, could you rephrase the question? please? Bana. It's like, could you rephrase the question? It's hard to be pretty productive in business when you're getting high every day. You agree with me? Objection. Okay. That's the thing. All right. Um, let me ask you this. You and Cassie, you would agree with me that you and Cassie had your own relationship, like friendship? Yes. You believe you were one of Cassie's best friends. True? We were close. Okay. You would agree with me that Cassie made you feel like you and her were really close. Yes. Okay. And you would agree with me that you explained to us that you didn't even meet Mr. Combs for at least a year later after you first started hanging out with Cassie. True? True. Okay. And although you didn't meet Mr. Combs for a solid year, you and Cassie still hung out pretty often. True? Yes. Okay. All right. I want to shift to you actually meeting Mr. Combs. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can go through. I don't remember. So she met Mr. Combs sometime in 2016. She says, I don't remember, but probably yes, around that time. Okay. We're going to skip a little bit more. And you're still friends with Deontay Nash? Yes. And you speak to Deontay Nash? Yes. And when the last time you spoke to him, he texted me today, but I didn't answer. Okay, what did he say? So Deontay Nash is texting Bana. Even as she's in the stand, she's texting Bana. Okay? What did you say? I think he was asking what my girl's number was. Okay. And before today's text, when is the last time that you spoke to Mr. Nash? I want to say after he got off the stand. Okay. Like not directly after, but around then. All right. And you guys didn't talk about his testimony? No. Just avoided that subject? Yeah, we knew, what's going on. All right. You don't need to talk about it. You know what's going on. Objection. Oh, shit. I need to okay. Get, listen, Linda. Maybe it's the maturity level in this situation, but gee, man, you calling me right after I get off the stand? You think I'm not going to tell you what's going on? GMAT. GMAT's in the chat. That's why I'm calling you out. You honestly think that I'm not going to talk to you about what is like literally? We're talking about everything. Okay? I'm sorry. Like I didn't oh, okay. All right. This is not the Pika. If I am off the stand and I'm calling you, the first thing I'm going to say to you, yo, I was on the stand and this lady said this to me and this is what happened and this is what went down. Come the hell on. Everything. And listen, all right, let me keep going. Because that's what friends do. Okay. Lord have mercy. I got to hurry up. Okay. Okay. Objection. Sustained. All right. Well, let me ask you this. You've spoken to Cassie during this trial, true? I haven't talked to her in a couple weeks. Okay. So have you spoken to Cassie since the trial started? She texted me today, but I did not answer. Okay. Didn't answer Cassie either. No. What about today? I want to know if you spoke to Miss Ventura while you were on trial. Yes. Oh my God. Get it together. Okay, all right. And your testimony is that you and Miss Ventura didn't speak about the testimony either, right? I just asked how she was doing and I send her a bathtub she might like. Okay, all right. Let's talk about your civil lawsuit. Ooh, here we go. Because we might have to end over here with the civil lawsuit. All right. So in 2023, late 2023, you spoke to Miss Ventura and you told her you filed a lawsuit against Mr. Combs. True? Yes. And you were aware that she did, in fact, file a lawsuit. True? Yes. And you're aware because you read the lawsuit. True? Yes, I did. And after you read Cassie's lawsuit, you spoke to Cassie. True? Yes, I did. And you spoke to Cassie about her lawsuit. True? Yes, I did. After you spoke to Cassie about her lawsuit, you went out and you hired yourself a lawyer. True? Yes, yes. And you hired Tyrone Blackburn. True? Yes. Okay. And then you already explained that after Tyrone, you then hired another lawyer, right? Yes. And the purposes of you hiring Tyrone Blackburn and the next lawyer was to sue Mr. Combs. True? It was to seek justice. It was what? To seek justice. Your definition of seeking justice was to sue Mr. Combs, right? Could you explain that further? You hired lawyers to sue Mr. Combs. Isn't that true? I did hire a lawyer. Okay. To sue Mr. Combs? To sue Mr. Combs. Okay. And like Cassie did, true. For different intentions, I would say, but yes. Okay, we'll get to that. In order for you for these lawyers to represent you, you had to speak to them, right? Yes. And without telling me what you told them, you had to explain to them what your allegations were. True? Objection. Okay. So sustain. Okay, so she asked the question again, Westmoreland. At a high level, you had to explain to these civil lawyers what your issues was. True? Objection. Okay. In order to hire civil lawyers, you had to talk to them, right? Yes. And these lawyers become your representatives. You hire them. True? Yes. And you're aware that they acted on your behalf. True? Yes. Your first lawyer, Mr. Tyrone, he was presented in your first interview with, he was present in your first interview with the government. True? Yes. Now on direct, you were right. You were asked about the first interview. Do you remember that line of questioning? I remember some. Yes. Yes. And you explained to us that you thought it was a meet and greet, right? Yes. And you didn't know it was what it turned out to be, right? Yes. And you sat there with the government and they asked you what happened, if anything true. Yes. And you did a full interview with them, right? Yes, I did. And although you didn't know you were about to do an interview, you still told them whatever. You answered their questions. True? Yes. And you didn't, and don't you have to practice the truth, right? No. And you don't have to practice the truth, right? No. Okay. I want to make sure that we understand the timeline. This questioning is like, girl, like what? Okay. Okay. November 2023, you're aware that Miss Ventura filed the lawsuit, true? Yes. And in November 2023, you were actually working for Cassie during the time, weren't you? Yeah, for like 2 months. So she was working with Cassie. Hold up. In November 2023, you were actually working for Cassie during that time, weren't you? Yeah, for like 2 months, for like a month or two. So when Cassie filed her lawsuit, Bana was working with Cassie. Yeah, November 23 and November 2024. True? Yes. So you and Cassie have hooked back up? Yeah, she wanted to do music or something. All right. You and Cassie hooked back up. True? Objection. Could you re-say the question? You and Cassie got back together in November and December 2023. Yes. Objection. Okay. Sidebar. Oh my God. So they got back together? Damn. I didn't know this either. See, we didn't get this when we were reading all of this over there. Hold up. Let me shout out some folks. Hold up. Damn. Damn. What? What is going on? Hold up. Oh my gosh. Tony and Sylvia, thank you guys. Thank you. Sylvia. Thank you, Sylvia. Shout out to Sylvia. And shout out to Tony. Shout out to you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys. I just saw your message. That I didn't know that. What is happening to like what? Did you all know this? I didn't know this. Okay, let's keep going. Ugh. All right. So they have a sidebar, okay? Miss Westmoreland has been implying improper sexual innuendos. This is what the government is saying between Bana and Miss Ventura throughout this testimony. That's what I picked up when they were reporting that. It was almost like they were trying to say that they were hooking up. At least that's what I got, and so did the government apparently. And including based on their first photo shoot, in that Miss Bana would sleep over at Miss Ventura's house a lot. There's several questions about that in the beginning of her testimony. I kind of agree with the government here. Okay, she continues to use the word hook up when she could ask if why I objected, Your Honor. So she objected over the word hookup. Miss Westmoreland says it's definitely not an innuendo for S contact at all. If you don't want me to use the word hook up, I have no issues with it. But I wasn't trying to infer anything. I didn't understand you to be making any S innuendos. However, let's see if we can reformulate some of these questions. Okay. All right. We have to skip over this because this is like too much. Okay. So, oh my God, what time is it, y'all? Because I gotta go soon. So, you and Cassie, and I'm in November and December 2023. Okay, at this point, you and Cassie are talking to each other again. True? Yes. Because you and her were working with each other again. Yes. And you and Cassie were discussing lawsuits. True? Not while we were working. Okay, so remember when I asked you a little bit ago if you called Cassie at the end of 2023, right before filing her lawsuit, and you said yes, yes. All right. And you're aware that Cassie filed her lawsuit November 2023. True? Yes. And you're working with Cassie in November of 2023. True? Yes. And you spoke with Cassie right before she filed her lawsuit and right after she filed her lawsuit. True? Yes. Okay. And you and Cassie were speaking, and you were speaking about her lawsuit. True? Yes. Or true? Okay. We have to keep going. You and Miss Ventura were discussing what you guys can maybe sue. And you and Miss Ventura could sue Mr. Combs. I kept my matters very private. You didn't tell Miss Ventura why? You didn't tell Miss Ventura you were going to sue Mr. Combs? Is that what you're saying? I didn't tell any of my friends. Okay. Let's talk about that. So when you and Cassie spoke before you filed the lawsuit, did you and Cassie speak anything in reference to some balcony incident? She had asked my permission to put my name in the lawsuit. And you said no? I said no. All right. And then Cassie filed a lawsuit, right? Yes. And then right after Cassie filed the lawsuit, you filed a suit too? You filed a suit, true? Not right after. Okay, so you filed the suit, you hired lawyers in January, true? True. But isn't it true that before you filed your suit, you and Cassie spoke right there at the end of the year? That's where I am. Okay? Yes? Yes. So you guys talked about this balcony story, true? Yes. And Cassie said, "Hey, this happened at a hotel, right?" She didn't say it like that. Right. She said something about a hotel, true? Yes. And you said no. What about your apartment? Objection. Oh my God. Rephrase. Okay. You told Cassie you and Cassie discussed locations of would where you would say this would happen. True? Objection. Cassie was saying hotel. You were saying your apartment has a balcony. True? I didn't say it like that. Okay, Cassie said hotel. You said apartment. Yes. And Cassie's apartment had a balcony. True? Yes. And you and Cassie were discussing potential dates. True? Yes. But the way you say it, well, okay. Beta says yes, but the way you say it, well, you said you suggested on a date and she suggested another. True? Objection. What the? So are they suggesting dates of when this whole thing happened? I'm confused. Lord have mercy. Oh my God. I got to stop right here. Oh my God. This is a mess. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay. Hold up, y'all, because I got to go tend to baby bunny and then I got to go to bed. I got to rest. This is wow. Hold up. Let me see what they have for tomorrow. We're gonna find out what they're gonna do tomorrow. Oh man. Okay. That whole situation is a mess. I'll read some of it and then I'll let you guys know in the morning what happens. It'll probably be part of another video or something. Make sure you guys tune in the morning when we cover this, okay? Anything for the defense? Okay, any other witnesses? I know they were talking about a Jane Doe. Hold up. What page is this? It doesn't say. Is this it? Hold up. Okay, here it is. Miss Comey at the very end of the day says, we're behind schedule for Jane, and it looks like we're going to be behind schedule for her, and I really don't want her to miss her flight. So I don't know. I need to discuss with the team, but the defense has been on notice of Mr. Santos and Jane. We still need to hear about Enrique Santos and Jane, a Jane Doe. And she's flying. I believe she's out of the country, if I remember correctly. So we'll be here at 10:30. Are they starting late tomorrow? Let me see, because I know they discussed the schedule. Um, the court said, we'll be here at 10:30. Is Mr. Santos going to present before Jane? So to 10:30 tomorrow morning? They're going to start late tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow starts late tomorrow. Okay, good. See, I missed this last part, y'all, because I had to go. Okay. So that's good to know. Good. I don't get to get up at so freaking early in the morning. I'm sleeping in tomorrow. Okay. I'm sleeping in tomorrow. That's what I'm doing. All right, guys. I'm gonna let you guys go. That'll probably be a yes. I'm leaving you on the no pun intended cliffhangers. Guys, this is why, listen, this is why we have to be able to have a conversation. Whether you believe this man is innocent or guilty, whether you believe Bam is telling the truth or the lie, we have to be able to talk about it all. Okay. All of it. All right. We do. We do. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, share. Thank you. Thank you for those that donated for the transcripts. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Definitely we ready for tomorrow to, hopefully order some more if that's what we have to do. Shout out to our wonderful mods. Shout out to all the people out here. Shout out to everybody. Like I said, if you kept it cute and we were disagreeing with each other, that is okay. As long as you keep it cute. Cute. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Bye. Bye.